Have you ever seen a living sponge? No, I mean other than Paris Hilton. What am I supposed to do when there's no intro cutscene? You've left me in quite the predicament, because this is the only Royal Ludroth I have access to in 3-star. But it's a villager request, so I guess that's why it doesn't have an intro, but surely at some point there's a story mission I just don't have access to yet, in which there is a Royal Ludroth. And now you've ruined that by not having an intro. I wanted to hear Mega Man. You weird sponge monster, the whole zone smells of dampness. Don't know what damp is. Oh, you know what? I should have said Rising Damp. That would have been a clutch late 70s reference, early 80s. For those who don't know, Rising Damp was a sitcom in which a racist landlord played on his racism for humour. Because he did not like his black tenant, but he did like his female tenant. And because it was the 70s/80s, that was supposed to be funny. It's a real thing, incidentally. I vaguely remember it. I can't remember the name of anyone in it, but kind of the landlord was like a discount Rowan Atkinson. It's like kind of similar to him as Mr. Bean, except racist and not funny. But hey, that was the thing. I remember having a good theme tune. But that's about it. That, and it's called Rising Damp because the landlord doesn't take care of his house. So the whole tenant building stinks of Royal Ludroth. And thus we've come full circle. The story is complete. Still not happy about the lack of an intro though, because the Iodrome I have queued up to do is also a villager request, which probably means that doesn't have an intro either. And I'll be bereft of my of my Mega Man intro music. Mega Man X intro music, actually. And that displeases me. I like Royal Ludroth in general though. In fact, I'm fairly certain, like my very first 3 Ultimate video outside of the collaborations that started everything, I believe was a Barith, which is just, it's so typical. I bullied the Barith for my first solo video in Monster Hunter. But I think my first video I did exclusively for patrons was a Royal Ludroth, maybe a pink Royal Ludroth, I don't remember now. One of the two for sure, and I was just testing out, maybe even testing out Greatsword for the first time. Because I was put off by the moveset Greatsword. It looks like you can't wield the weapon, you're very clunky with it, but once you get to understand it, so the animations are supposed to look clunky because the sword weighs so much. It's not that they aren't sure how to use it, it's just that they have to use it in the manner in which they do, because it weighs more than a truck. Trucks in the Monster Hunter world are very heavy. I thought we were leaving. Oh, he is. Turns out I was correct. May as well use one of the many whetstones because we don't get to keep them anyway. We have a tiny slither of blue sharpness, which for a gun lance is, at this point, pretty meaningless because one combo and it's gone. But the Sergio's weapon does end up with good sharpness. Which is important for gun lances because you burn through it so quickly. I honestly thought I'd have time for that wave of fire given how quick it is. Hey, good knockover. Well then, don't mind if I just go for some pokes instead. Back into the fray. I do love how that attack looks. I'm getting more used to the spacing you need to make it connect without it automatically triggering if you touch the monster. What I did want though was the flamethrower one, and then I can't remember what the new gunlance skill is in Double Cross. I remember what the Greatsword one is. It's one where you do like the spin slices and then jump in there for a big spin slice. It's called Full Moon Slash or something, at least in the little Japanese translated. Don't know what it's called in English yet. But I've forgotten what the gunlance one is. And I would have used it a lot, so I'm a little surprised I can't remember. some kind of... Oh, I'm remembering. It's the one where you push your gun lance into there and then explode after a little combo, right? I vaguely remember doing like a skyward explosion. But we're not far enough through yet to unlock that. Oh, there's a tail off. Very nice. I'm all heated up. Kitchen is important. As is past present tense. I showed up just in time, although blocking in cross and double cross is severely nerfed. You lose way too much stamina from basic attacks. It made all the shield focused weapons a little worse, which is a very disappointing thing. World has made that better. You still do lose quite a bit of stamina, but not nearly as much as in this one. Get him! It's getting away. He's still going to get away, but I want his tail. So he gets to live for now. Gave me a scale. That's not what I wanted. I'm going to get such a fireball. By which I mean 2 fireballs. You know what? Let's throw in a whetstone as well. Because it's instant. Shing! Never mind, it's not instant at all. That must have been my foot effect that made me think it was instant last time. Well, he's limping. He might be sleeping. He's going to get explodinated, which is a word in the dictionary. Please get exploded. I wonder how much that... Oh, it destroyed the scenery. I wonder how much damage that does. Whew. I'm looking forward to seeing the death screen. I have a feeling Mr. Torg would as well, were he here. But he's too busy narrating CR's Killing Floor 2 gameplay, so... we might not have him available, we'll see. You know what else I have that's a villager request? Not my dog barking, that's something entirely different. I have a Kezu that's a villager request. I wonder if that will have an intro either. I think they only don't have intros if they're a villager request if there is a standard quest. I just don't have access to it. But that doesn't mean you're going to see another abridged Royal Ludroth. We'll just have to make do without seeing the 2-second long intro. I could totally just play the Mega Man music right this second, if I wanted to. I have that power sitting on my desktop. I will resist though. There's a time and a place, and it's called when you meet the monster and it does a lazy cutscene where it shows its name. Oh, the sheep is waving in front of the screen again. It's going to be hard to change out of that weapon. It's a really good one. That's pretty cool. They could just fire a Nova Blast at it or something. I was expecting the camera to be close up to the monster even though I fired from a distance, so yeah, that's nice. That's like I killed it with a bow or a bow gun. Yes, that's the other ranged weapon. I spaced on the word for a second there. I wanted to see sniper rifle, but that made no sense. Anyway, Royal Ludroth, done. Ignore the fact I'd already killed one that was online. Thank you for watching, and ta-ta for now.